The movie opens in a terrifying jungle where a man was escaping from danger while holding a revolver in his hand. He is bitten by a vampire who appears to be drowning due to his large, menacing teeth and lack of hair. One who consumes these individuals' blood is a vampire. Now that the sun has arrived here, the vampire burns it and transforms it into ash before consuming all of the victim's blood. Now that he was finished, the other man had also turned into a vampire as a result of his bite. Because he was also being burned by the sun's beams, he now flees from there and hides in a shed, which is also the title of this film, in order to protect his life after. This we meet Stan, a little child whose mother had come to rouse him up for breakfast. He skips breakfast before waking up since his mother's illness has unexpectedly deteriorated to the point that all of his hair has gone out. The face was also beginning to get black. He slaughtered his entire family in a matter of seconds. Given that we know Stan experienced a nightmare, we also know that his parents were not actually alive. His parents passed away as soon as he saw, and he is currently living with his grandfather at his home. Yet, he was a little harsh due to his military background, which made him dislike Stan because of his unfavorable conduct with him. He now departs for school like he does each day. We can see that Stan's home is outside of the shed in which the vampire man is hiding. His school's naughty daughter diverts him en route. He gets in a police truck with a cop and a sheriff after reading the cycle. They both become furious with him. Stan is informed by the police as they go that no one would be freed going forward. 3 naughty lads were also pestering Stan's pal at school. Stan appears out of nowhere and approaches him because it was not only today's labor but daily work. These folks started arguing. When they fight more, the teacher arrives and instructs them once more. We may see Roxy, a female who used to be Stan's friend but has since joined the naughty bunch. Even if they don't treat her properly, she's still with them. Stan went outside with a friend to have a little fun. Meanwhile, his friend makes inappropriate remarks about Roxy. Stan is upset by this because he liked Roxy. He becomes enraged and refuses to continue. His buddy describes you as a sick, cowardly individual. She left you out of financial avarice, but you still have a crush on her. Stan continues, in my view, there is nothing like it. There is no wrong in living a happy life. It is everyone's right. Even after returning home, he continued to consider Roxy. He receives a call from his granddad to mow the lawn. He then takes his dog outside to tie. The dog's behavior here abruptly shifts. Because he was barking and gazing towards the shed continually, Stan enters the shed to investigate because he feels strange, where he obtains human teeth that belong to a vampire, because he had fully transformed into a vampire as well. Afterwards, he strikes Stan from behind, yet the moment the sun breaks through the glass, he begins to burn. He saves his life by exiting the house at that point. Stan starts yelling at him to discreetly go. If not, I'll leave my dog here with you. Stan threatens him, but when he does not emerge, he leaves his dog. Someone departs and enters the shed. He was all right at this point, but his head returned. Stan is terrified as a result, because he recognized that there is a serious issue here and that this situation is not a joke. He enters the residence to obtain firearms for this reason. His grandfather halts him at this point and inquires about the dog. Stan proceeds to tell him everything, that the shed contains a demon or an animal. Our dog was slain by him. Yet, his grandfather does not think so. But when he went outside to investigate, he was persuaded after witnessing his dog's severed head. Despite Stan's reluctance, he walks to the shed because he is upset. Next moment, he falls on the ground on whose back the vampire had attacked. Stan puts a lot of effort to save him, but the vampire was very strong and pulls him inside. He locks the whole shed with chains and seals it. Because he did not understand what to do, he could not tell the police because he was locked in the same jail when he was trying to sleep at night. Then someone opens his door, which does not open because it was locked. Then the vampire starts calling him from the shed, and he also starts hypnotizing and going towards the shed. When he opens the door of the shed, the vampire slaps him. But then his eyes open, because it was just his bad dream. The next day at school, he was trying to forget everything. That's when Roxy passes by him. She looks sad and sits next to him. She starts crying and talking, and she was remembering her old time. That's when the leader of the mischievous group, Marble, comes to bother him. Now after his departure, Stan's friend comes here. Seeing whom Roxy had left from there, then Stan starts getting angry at his friend that you came and spoiled everything, and I could not even tell him about the shed. After talking about this, both of them go on their own way. But unfortunately, Stan's friend Marble and his mischievous friend meet, who catches him and starts hitting him very badly. Then Stan takes a bat to face the vampire, but the moment the vampire breaks the door of the shed, as soon as he catches him, he was very scared, but the sun was coming out. As soon as it falls in the vampire's hands, he starts burning. He leaves Stan and somehow saves his life. He had not come out of this trauma yet. That's when his friend also comes here. They had hit him a lot. He was very angry. Stan tells him everything, but he still does not believe. He says that if this is true, then prove it. He says that if he goes towards the shed, that I also want to see that monster of yours. The moment he sees his terrible face, he believes. He was also scared. After that, the two friends put sticks together and closed the hole in the door. Stan says to him, You killed him so easily. He said that I did not think so, and we are not going to do anything like this. Actually, Stan's friend was going crazy in the fire of revenge, which was not a good thing. Stan was also scared that he might tell someone about the vampire, but his friend reassures him, I am not going to do anything like this. Stan wants to learn how to kill a vampire. He knows 3 ways. First, burn him in the sun and kill him. Second, kill his heart. Third, cut his head and separate it from the body. While watching the film, he falls asleep. A girl comes out of the poster on the wall and comes to him, who is none other than Roxy. Stan's eyes were open because it was his bad dream. As soon as he puts on his shoes to go out, his eyes go down. Where the vampire was hidden, Stan slaps him, and we understood that this was also his dream, and now he really woke up. It was clear that he was worried while waking up and sleeping. Because of fear, he was sleeping with a knife. He thinks that if all this continues, I will go crazy, so he takes a machine to dig a hole on the roof of the shed so that the sun's light comes in and burns the vampire. But before he finishes it completely, he comes back home, where Sharif comes out of his house to find his grandfather. Stan lies to send Sharif from there, that my grandfather is not at home now. Hearing this, Sharif begins to doubt, because his car was standing outside the house. She then asks Stan about a family, but Stan does not even know that family, because that family used to stay very close to his house. Someone was killing the animals of that family. To find the killer, the head of that family had gone to the jungle, but he has not returned yet, so we understand that the man we saw in the beginning, he was actually the head of that family. Because of being a vampire, he is hiding in Stan's shed. He was getting late from school. Stan is to kill him. But before leaving, Sharif sees his grandfather's stick, which was lying on the ground. Stan comes to the school and meets Roxy. She asks him what you have done to yourself. Everything is fine. During his talk, Marble comes there and starts teasing Roxy again. She had crossed the limit today, which Stan could not bear. Stan was so angry with her that he was hitting her. Before he could kill Marble, Virginia came and stopped him. She was angry that I am already very upset with your behavior. But today you have crossed the limit. Now I will meet your grandfather and tell him everything. She is not picking up the phone, so I have sent Sharif to bring him. Stan is very scared to hear this. Stan runs out of the house and Marble follows him. When no one opened the door, Sharif went towards the shed, and when he saw that it was sealed, he understood that there is someone inside. Then Stan comes here, but he tries to make him understand, but he was not ready to listen to anything. Even after refusing Stan, she opens the door, from which the vampire comes out and punishes him. Marble pulls his hand and takes Sharif inside the house, but his hand fell out of the house. Now Stan was dreaming that Marble comes here to increase his trouble. He tells him that I have come to take revenge for my insult, which you beat me in front of everyone. Stan tells him that there is another big problem here, so please now is not the right time. But Marble does not listen to him and attacks him. To save him, Stan's friend comes there. Marble is scared to see Stan, because no doubt he is a coward. But in the matter of madness, he is the first. Stan tries to stop him. In response, he says that if you come in the middle, then I will not hesitate to kill you, because for so many years these people have been torturing me. I have to take revenge today. He then tells Marble to go inside the shed. As soon as he goes inside, the vampire pulls him and attacks him. Because of this, Stan seems to be very angry with his friend. What did you do? No doubt he is not innocent, but he did not commit such a big crime that he should be killed. Now in his confusion, he kills Stan with a gun and makes him unconscious. And when his eyes open, he finds Roxy in front of him. Seeing the cut hand, many questions arise in Roxy's mind, and before answering any of his questions, he goes inside the shed with a weapon to check. He sees the corpse of Marble, which his friend had caught, which seemed to be a lot of drama because he had also become a vampire. Stan asks him where the vampire, who was here, is gone. Then his friend replies that he is gone for now, but he will definitely come back to take his revenge from you. In the meantime, Roxy also comes here. Seeing this, as soon as Stan's mind wanders, his friend attacks him. But on getting a chance, Stan puts a stick in his body and burns his arm in the sun, due to which he was a little burnt. Stan thinks that maybe he's dead, so he comes out and takes care of Roxy. Behind him, Stan's friend had also come because he was regretting doing all this, but it was too late for him now. He is in a hurry, so Stan puts a cloth on him so that his life can be saved. But by then he had lost his breath because he was very burnt. Now this problem was solved, but the real problem was still remaining, and he was the first vampire. He had to do all the preparations that he could do, like sealing the whole house, making a lot of sharp woods, and hiding both the cars so that no one doubts. Now as it is night, these two were ready to kill him. Then both the friends of Marble come to the door. Now in this way his plan is spoiled.
Although these two also explain to him that get out of here, but he does not listen to them. And then that vampire comes here. Because his friend was not listening to him, he himself starts running from here to save his life. But the vampire pulls him up and spends a very bad time, because he had squeezed all his blood. Now seeing this, he has to open the door and bring Marble's other friend inside. But it was of no use, because Roxy had forgotten to close the door of the upper floor. And now the vampire comes up and starts roaming there. These three make a plan to go up and kill him. They come up with their own weapons, but the plan is spoiled, which they should not have done. Because then his other friend came in front of Marble's friend, who was now a vampire himself. He attacks this friend and makes him a vampire too. Now Roxy goes to the room and starts looking at the pictures. From behind, Marble's vampire friend comes and attacks him. Hearing his voice, Stan, as soon as he goes, the two vampire friends of Marble came in the middle. Then he quickly goes to a room and locks it. Now Marble's two vampire friends were also entering forcibly. Taking advantage of this, Stan kills both of them with a single bullet, because he had shot the bullet in the mouth of the first one, which went to the chest of the previous one. In this way, one's head was torn and separated from the body, while the other's heart. Then the vampire, as soon as Roxy is about to die, Stan comes here, who had put a gun on the vampire. But he was so fast that in a snap of a finger, Stan comes and hits him on the shoulder. But even this does not do much to the vampire. He was hitting Stan so hard that Roxy comes in the middle and puts a gun on him. Seeing him, the vampire throws Stan behind and starts moving towards Roxy. So even if the bullet is fired at him, nothing happens. To save him, Stan throws a knife towards the vampire. But he comes and shakes Roxy too. Because the vampire was stuck behind, he now catches Stan again to kill him. After killing Stan, Roxy separates Stan from Roxy, from whom now this devil dies. After that, she tears this whole shit apart, putting all the vampire's corpses inside it. Both of them were very happy. Here, this movie story ends here. Both the friends of Marble come to the door. Now in this way his plan is spoiled. Although these two also explain to him that get out of here, but he does not listen to them. And then that vampire comes here. Because his friend was not listening to him, he himself starts running from here to save his life. But the vampire pulls him up and spends a very bad time, because he had squeezed all his blood. Now seeing this, he has to open the door and bring Marble's other friend inside. But it was of no use, because Roxy had forgotten to close the door of the upper floor. And now the vampire comes up and starts roaming there. These three make a plan to go up and kill him. They come up with their own weapons, but the plan is spoiled, which they should not have done. Because then his other friend came in front of Marble's friend, who was now a vampire himself. He attacks this friend and makes him a vampire too. Now Roxy goes to the room and starts looking at the pictures. From behind, Marble's vampire friend comes and attacks him. Hearing his voice, Stan, as soon as he goes, the two vampire friends of Marble came in the middle. Then he quickly goes to a room and locks it. Now Marble's two vampire friends were also entering forcibly. Taking advantage of this, Stan kills both of them with a single bullet, because he had shot the bullet in the mouth of the first one, which went to the chest of the previous one. In this way, one's head was torn and separated from the body, while the other's heart. Then the vampire, as soon as Roxy is about to die, Stan comes here, who had put a gun on the vampire. But he was so fast that in a snap of a finger, Stan comes and hits him on the shoulder. But even this does not do much to the vampire. He was hitting Stan so hard that Roxy comes in the middle and puts a gun on him. Seeing him, the vampire throws Stan behind and starts moving towards Roxy. So even if the bullet is fired at him, nothing happens. To save him, Stan throws a knife towards the vampire. But he comes and shakes Roxy too. Because the vampire was stuck behind, he now catches Stan again to kill him. After killing Stan, Roxy separates Stan from Roxy, from whom now this devil dies. After that, she tears this whole shit apart, putting all the vampire's corpses inside it. Both of them were very happy. Here, this movie story ends here.